making headlines. The High Commissioner of Maldives to the UK presents her letter of credence to King Charles III. The Speaker of the Parliament asserts that the administration adheres to the constitutional and legal standards without committing any acts that contravene the law. And the government announces the relocation of operations and services of 3 government ministries to Darbaruga Convention Centre.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to PSM News in English with me, Long Naim. The High Commissioner of Maldives to the United Kingdom, Dr. Irtisham Adam, presents her letter of credence to King Charles III.
High Commissioner of the Maldives to the United Kingdom, Dr. Irtisham Adam, has presented her letter of credence to King Charles. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs, in a statement, said that the King congratulated the High Commissioner on her appointment and expressed desire to strengthening the long-standing traditional ties of friendship and cooperation with the Maldives during a special ceremony held at Buckingham Palace. Dr. Irtisham Adam conveyed greetings from President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu to the King and reiterated the commitment of the Maldives government to work closely with the UK in areas of mutual interest. The ceremony was followed by a reception hosted at St. James Court, London, a Taj Hotel. Among those in attendance were the Commonwealth Secretary-General, ambassadors and high commissioners from SAARC and Commonwealth countries, Dean of the Diplomatic Corps Ambassador Ivan Romero Martinez of Honduras, and representatives from the Maldives South Asia Department at the Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office. Additionally, senior officials from the Commonwealth Secretariat, co-chairs of the Maldives UK All-Party Parliamentary Group, senior officials of the UK government, and international organizations, media and Maldivian diaspora were also present at the event. President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu presented Dr. Irtisham her credentials as the new High Commissioner to the United Kingdom on 7th May after the Parliament on 29th April approved her nomination.
Speaker of Parliament Abdurrahim Abdullah asserts the administration has consistently adhered to constitutional and legal standards without committing any acts that contravene the law.
Speaker of the Parliament Abdurrahim has asserted that the administration of President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu has consistently adhered to constitutional and legal standards without committing any acts that contravene the law. In a recent interview with PSM News, the Speaker highlighted the significant achievements of the Parliament's last session for the year, highlighting the numerous works accomplished. He highlighted that one of the most significant accomplishments was the amendment to the Constitution. He characterized these amendments as initiatives aimed at further empowering the people. He observed that following the constitutional amendments, public discourse, particularly among those opposed to the administration, predominantly focused on issues related to floor crossing in the Parliament. Nonetheless, he added that the constitutional amendments address far more crucial issues. Speaker Abdurrahim said that one of the key changes implemented is the recruitment for parliamentary endorsement prior to permitting foreign military operations within the country. He added that this measure represents a significant effort by the administration to further empower the people. He said that the ruling People's National Congress (PNC) remains committed to upholding constitutional supremacy and restoring the respect that was diminished under the previous administrations. He also reiterated that President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu's administration has adhered to constitutional and legal frameworks, refraining from any actions that could be considered unconstitutional or in breach of law. Speaker Abdurrahim went on to say that despite the opposition's accusation of constitutional and legal violations by the administration has solely undertaken actions aimed at protecting and empowering the people and their rights. His remarks coincide with President Dr. Muizzu's defense of the constitutional amendments introduced by his administration. Addressing the residential community of Mathiveri Alif Alif Atoll on 8 December, President Dr. Muizzu asserted that the constitutional amendments were clearly designed to empower the people, provided that political bias is set aside.
The government announces the relocation of operations and services of 3 government ministries to the Darbaruga Convention Centre.
The government has revealed that the relocation of operations and services of 3 government ministries to Darbaruge Convention Centre is underway, following the suspension caused by Thursday's fire incident. The fire, which broke out early Thursday morning, devastated the building housing the Ministry of Housing, Land and Urban Development and the Ministry of Construction and Infrastructure. The adjacent green building, home to the Ministry of Climate Change, Environment and Energy, was also damaged in the incident. In the aftermath of the fire, the operations and services of the 3 affected ministries were suspended. Authorities have subsequently resolved to relocate these functions to Darbaruge Convention Centre to ensure the uninterrupted provision of services. According to the Housing Ministry, temporary adjustments are currently being established at Darbaruge to facilitate the swift recommencement of operations. The ministry added that they will be completed at the earliest possible time. The relocation of the ministries to Darbaruge also led to the postponement of several events initially planned there, including the official function to commemorate Fisherman's Day and the Rehendi Award ceremony. Despite the significant property loss, including a large amount of equipment and documentation, no injuries were reported. The Maldives National Defence Force MNDF remains on site monitoring the situation, as there is still a possibility for the fire to reignite. According to the MNDF Fire and Rescue Services FRS, the fire was first reported at around 6:27 a.m. on Thursday. FRS officials said that the first responders arrived immediately to find the area engulfed in heavy smoke. The fire was eventually brought under control after 5 hours of concerted efforts by the FRS and other authorities.
Minister of Health Abdullah Nazim Ibrahim describes the introduction of magnetic resonance imaging MRI services at the Ungufar Regional Hospital as a historic milestone in the administration's efforts to elevate the hospital's services to tertiary standards.
Minister Nazim stated that the introduction of magnetic resonance imaging MRI services at the Ungufar Regional Hospital marks a significant milestone in the administration's ongoing efforts to elevate the hospital's services to tertiary standards. He made the announcement during a function at Ungufar Hospital, where he officiated the launch of MRI services as the guest of honor. In his address, Minister Nazim asserted that the introduction of MRI services in Ungufar, Rayatol, signals the commencement of the President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu administration's broader initiative to elevate the hospitals to tertiary status. He said that this marks the first phase of efforts to upgrade Ungufar to tertiary standards as per President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu's pledge. He also underscored the administration's commitment to healthcare sector development, particularly disease prevention. He added that the government is dedicated to implementing and verifying the efficiency of disease prevention measures to protect public health before the onset of illness. Highlighting the administration's proactive approach, Minister Nazim noted that efforts to establish primary healthcare services across the nation are already underway. According to the minister, the goal is to ensure accessibility, increase healthcare awareness, and establish preventive mechanisms on all inhabited islands by the end of 2025. In addition to MRI services, the hospital also introduced platelet-rich plasma PRP therapy. Ungufar Regional Hospital, established 40 years ago, continues to expand its repertoire of advanced healthcare services. Currently, the hospital offers mammography, CT scans, dental care, and ENT services.
Minister of Divehi Language, Culture and Heritage, Adam Nasir Ibrahim urges all Maldivians to prioritize the Divehi language, culture and heritage as a New Year resolution. He made the remarks at the closing ceremony of the literary competition. Speaking at the ceremony, Minister Adam Nasir Ibrahim said that every year each child resolves a list of achievements as a New Year resolution, which he said is important for every child to do so far next year. However, the minister urged each student to include something in the field of Divehi language, literature and Divehi identity next year. He said it is important to use these areas in the school environment and communication among friends. Furthermore, Minister Adam Nasir made an important suggestion as a tool students can utilize in essay writing, saying that students could write about the rich experiences and stories their grandmothers or grandfathers have to share. He underscored the crucial importance of new ideas and thinking to boost productivity and innovation. During the ceremony, winners of the essay writing, poetry writing and short story writing competitions were awarded. The European Central Bank ECB cuts interest rates once again and keeps the door open to further easing ahead as inflation closes in on its goal and the economy remains weak.
The European Central Bank has cut interest rates for the fourth time this year on Thursday and kept the door open to further easing ahead as inflation closes in on its goal and the economy remains weak.
The Governing Council today decided to lower the three key ECB interest rates by 25 basis points. In particular, the decision to lower the deposit facility rate, the rate through which we steer the monetary policy stance, is based on our updated assessment of the inflation outlook, the dynamics of underlying inflation, and the strength of monetary policy transmission. The disinflation process is well on track.
The central bank for the 20 countries that share the euro reduced the rate it pays on bank deposits, which drives financing conditions in the bloc to 3.0% from 3.25%. It was at a record 4.0% only in June. It also signaled that further cuts are possible by removing a reference to keeping rates sufficiently restrictive, economic jargon for a level of borrowing costs that curbs economic growth.
I continue to think that restrictions on trade, protectionist measures are not conducive to growth and ultimately have an impact on inflation that is largely uncertain. In the short term, it's probably net inflationary, probable, but the overall impact on inflation is uncertain because it is going to depend on the scope of the measures, on the retaliation that is decided, on the rerouting of trade traffic from other parts of the world. And that is a very complex situation with movable parts, which we will determine if and when they come.
With Thursday's decision, the ECB also cut the rate at which it lends to banks for 1 week to 3.15% and for 1 day to 3.40%. These facilities have been barely used in recent years as the ECB has supplied the banking system with more reserves than it needs via massive bond purchases and long-term loans.
Syrian rebels vow to erase their legacy amid the ashes and the empty bullet casings on the Grand Mausoleum of ousted Syrian President Bashar al-Assad's family.
Now covered in ashes and empty bullet casings, the Grand Mausoleum of ousted Syrian President Bashar al-Assad's family stood in the eyes of rebels as a symbol of the injustice Syrians endured under the long rule. The marble mausoleum in Assad's western Syrian hometown of Gardaha was stormed, looted and torched by rebels after they took the capital Damascus, ending a family dynasty that began with Assad's father Hafiz seizing powers in a 1970 coup. Bullet casings littered the mausoleum floor as fighters and civilians fired guns into the air, chanted slogans and stomped on Hafiz al-Assad's torched memorial as winds blew ashes about. The tomb of the elder Assad's wife was also burnt and destroyed. Ahmad al-Abdullah, a rebel from Aleppo who helped sack the mausoleum, said that while he had mixed feelings watching the monuments burn, the new Syrian leadership was determined to remove any signs of the Assad legacy from public life. As he spoke on Thursday, armed men and local families walked around the Gardaha compound and scrawled graffiti slogans on its walls. In nearby Latakia, the main city in the coastal region that was long the epicenter of the Assad's Alawite minority sect, residents celebrated the ruling family's fall. Dozens of people holding flags and guns posed in front of a monument in the city center, taking photos and videos as honking cars drove by.
ರಾಜ್ಯಗ ಎಮ್ಮೆ ಆಮು ಬರಿತಕಕ್ಕೆ ಕೊಬ ಬಾಲಿ ಜೆಹಿಫೋರಿಕನ್ ದೆನಗಣ್ಣಾಣಿ ಕೀನೆ ಬಾಲಿಗೆ ಆಲಾಮೆಟ್ಟಕಕ್ಕೆ ಕೊಬ ಬಾಲಿನ ರಕ್ಕಾತಿರುವುಮ ಕುರೆವೇನ ಕಂತತಕಕ್ಕೆ ಕೊಬ ಮಿ ಹುರಿಯಾ ಸುವಾಲಿಗೆ ಜವಾಬ್ ಹೋದುಮ ಹಾಸ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಕಾಯ್ಕೋ ಒನ್ ಕೋಲ್
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله اللهم رب هذه الدعوة التامة والصلاة القائمة آت محمدًا الوسيلة والفضيلة والدرجة الرفيعة وبعثه مقامًا محمودًا الذي وعدته وارزقنا شفاعته برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين وصلى الله على محمد وآله وصحبه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين.
For over 30 years, we have been getting stronger and faster. We have been expanding our network across the globe. In the Middle East and Northern Africa, we have Sister Union, Arab States Broadcasting Union, sharing news with us daily. In Europe, we exchange news with over 60 different European broadcasters, and in America, CNN receives news materials from AVN and broadcasts them all over the world. Asian news is changing faster and having more of an impact on global affairs than ever before. The new internet platform has made it easier to contribute and access current news events, and the rise of membership participation has led to a dramatic increase of items being exchanged over the last year. So join us as we document history in the making. Asia Vision, Asian news through Asian eyes.
AVN, every Thursday night at 11 o'clock on PSM News.
China's defense ministry breaks silence about days of military activities around Taiwan, saying it was up to China to decide whether or not to hold drills.
China's defense ministry broke its silence about days of military activities around Taiwan, saying it was up to China to decide whether or not to hold drills and the military would not be absent in fighting against separatist forces. Taiwan's defense ministry on Monday went on the alert and activated an emergency response center after reporting a large rise in Chinese military activity both around the island and more broadly in the East and South China Seas. China's military has made no announcement about any drills taking place. Beijing views democratically governed Taiwan as its territory, a claim rejected by the government in Taipei, which says only Taiwan's people can decide their future. In a statement responding to a question on Taiwan, President Lai Ching-te's recent visits to Hawaii and the U.S. territory of Guam and whether or not China has held drills, China's defense ministry offered neither confirmation nor denial, though it quoted from ancient Chinese military tactician Sun Tzu, just as water retains no constant shape, so in warfare there are no constant conditions, an expression of Sun's that means war conditions are unpredictable and constantly in flux. He said that it is the sacred duty of the People's Liberation Army to safeguard the sovereignty and territorial integrity of the state, to safeguard the fundamental interests of the Chinese people, and to safeguard the common interests of compatriots on both sides of the Taiwan Strait. He said that regardless of whether or not exercises are held, the People's Liberation Army will not be absent and will not be soft in its fight against independence and for reunification, adding that any reliance on foreign forces or on military forces to seek independence will be severely punished and is doomed to failure.
A 5-year-old swimmer delights at the World Aquatic Swimming Championships with eyes on things to come.
A 5-year-old swimmer, Vanya Maisuanpon from Bangkok, was a guest of honor at the World Aquatic Swimming Championships in Budapest on Thursday.
I am Vanya. I'm 5 years old. I love swimming.
Vanya is already an internet sensation after her father set up accounts on Instagram and TikTok to showcase her prowess in the pool. The videos show her streaking away from other swimmers in her age group and have been viewed by millions. According to her father, Vanya began swimming when she was just 6 months old. He described the moment he taught her how to freestyle as when the magic happened.
She has been able to swim by herself at 2, be able to float anywhere at 2. So it's been a year playing the water. Where once we start doing stroke on her, doing freestyle, that's something magic happened suddenly. I don't know how it happened.
Tournament organizers World Aquatics invited Vanya and her parents to Budapest, where she was able to swim in the same pool the world's best have been competing in, and she also met up with former Olympic 50-meter freestyle champion Pernille Bloom. Bloom, who won gold in Rio in 2016, described her talent as incredible and took some time out to watch her swim.
I never seen such a young girl swim this way. She is incredible. She's really amazing. She's just an unbelievable little girl who just loves the water.
World Aquatics told Reuters that many of the world's best swimmers have been stopping to ask Vanya for a selfie as they are fans of her videos, with some describing her as a wonder kid. James Gibson, a coach with World Aquatics, said there is a long way to go if she is to compete at the highest level when she is older, but believes that she is very good technically for such a young age.
OpenAI's Chief Financial Officer Sarah Freya says that the re-acceleration in ChatGPT user growth attributed to the launch of new reasoning models such as O1.
Tell us where the
OpenAI's Chief Financial Officer Sarah Firar said that OpenAI has seen a re-acceleration in ChatGPT user growth, which has surged to 300 million weekly active users from 200 million in August this year, attributing it to the launch of new reasoning models such as O1.
ChatGPT today is 300 million users, but it's growing so fast. If I were here in October, I would have said 250 million. If I were here in August, I would have said 200 million. And we absolutely saw a re-acceleration again in that kind of fall timeframe because we launched our reasoning models.
In response to questions from Reuters editor-in-chief Alessandra Galloni during an interview at the Reuters Next conference in New York, Firar said the company has seen huge demand for its text-to-video generation tool Sora, which was released this week. Account creation has been suspended since then, and Firar did not offer a specific timeline for when it would resume.
Some of it is just we need capacity, but a lot of it is also we want to be measured. When you go all the way to things like likeness, that is only available to a very small selection of people today because we want to listen and learn. What we've realized with ChatGPT is it behooves us often to get tech out there and see what you all do with it. Frankly, that's where the innovation comes from, but that there are places where we will go a little slower to make sure that we are constantly moving safety first as well.
Firar previously led social media firm Nextdoor and joined OpenAI 6 months ago as its first chief financial officer.
That's it for now. Thank you for watching PSM News. Have a good day.